Good evening, night shifters. This is Third Shift HFY. Settle in and let tonight's stars tell their story.
Transcript excerpt, Level 5, Observation Archive Sector Alpha, 17, filed by Sub-Protocol, Observer 4992, JEX.
Let it be known that on Galactic Standard Date 904.227, humanity did not declare war. They declared something worse. They declared satire. The room was quiet, too quiet. Not the elegant quiet of a ceremonial summit, or the reverent hush before a speech from the Grand Sovereign. No, this was the silence of 1,000 alien dignitaries, trying to figure out if they had just been insulted or obliterated. On the center dais stood one human, a short one by ambassadorial standards, slightly wrinkled suit, half smile, eyes that said, "I survived retail." He had been asked one simple question by the Council's prime arbiter. "How does your species wish to respond to the integration offer?" And he had replied without blinking, "You mean the Galactic Pyramid scheme with laser swords and moral bankruptcy? Hard pass, Sparkle Lord." He called the arbiter Sparkle Lord, out loud, into a room filled with neural implanted translators and live feeds across 50 systems. The translator struggled. The term was processed, debated, updated. Some species interpreted it as glitter overlord, others as luminescent tyrant. One species heard it as bedazzled father figure, and then a wheezing sound, a snort, followed by the unthinkable, laughter. Not from the humans, from the Exan collective delegate. The ones with no vocal cords. They evolved an organ on the spot just to laugh. That was the beginning of the incident now known as the collapse of composure. Council Emergency Session Transcript. Marked Containment. Laughter, Class 3A. Speaker, Councillor Rethvana of the Serenthos Diplomatic Corps. Let the record show. This joke must be treated as a bioweapon. The council chamber reeked of overcompensation. Sanctions have been drafted. Cultural containment protocols were being passed around like antiviral brochures. All because one human ambassador cracked a joke so disruptive, it caused an entire galactic subcommittee to dissolve. Not politically, but emotionally. They couldn't stop laughing. Some delegates were still laughing. The delegate from Othrek 4 had to be wheeled out on a hover stretcher after experiencing respiratory enlightenment. Several worlds reported cascading effects. The Dominion of Perpetual Grievance, yes, that was their real name, collapsed within hours. A rigid hierarchy of the Chesnar techno-theocracy was reduced to an open mic night, and the Grand Archivists of Vowel opened the forbidden vault of sarcasm. They haven't been the same since. Within 36 cycles, the phrase Sparkle Lord had entered 11,000 alien languages. It became graffiti, then a meme, then a movement, and the humans, they just kept laughing. They mock us because they know we cannot respond in kind. Councillor Rethvana hissed, because to do so would humanize us. A chill fell across the chamber, not because of fear, but because the Exan collective delegate snorted again. Location: the VAOL Grand Archive. Level 19, Forbidden Knowledge Wing. Access Code, Clearance. Contingency File 6, Laughter Vector, Containment. It was never supposed to be opened. Behind layered vault doors, each etched with universal glyphs warning, "Do not understand this," lay the ancient fossilized records of a galactic species, lost to uncontainable sarcasm. They were called the Ankyllians. Their civilization collapsed in 17 minutes. The Voil archivists had once studied their demise with somber detachment, until the humans arrived, and made a remark, "Why do your librarians dress like villainous curtains from a soap opera?" The curtains part was what did it. The head archivist collapsed into a wheezing fit. The others, trained in 6 forms of emotional suppression, cracked, one by one, until with trembling claws they opened the Ankyllian vault. Inside, texts, recordings, symbols, all based on the idea that laughter was not just a sound, but a weapon. The humans, one archivist muttered, pale and shaking, have already weaponized it. They began copying the jokes, translating puns across linguistic structures, studying irony, sarcasm, absurdism. Soon, laughter became an academic virus, contagious, mutating. Whispers filled the halls. They tell stories about cats doing taxis. They've crafted entertainment where people pay to watch others fall down stairs. Their most sacred myths involve pastry theft and exploding office chairs. The archivists renamed the vault. They now call it Sector H.UMOR. Hazardous Universal Mirth, Operational Repository. And still, they listen, looping the human broadcasts, helpless to turn them off.
Location: Galactic Embassy Complex. Sector 7B, Neutral Ground Event. First Contact Symposium. Human Cultural Exchange Presentation.
The hall was packed. Hundreds of delegates from 43 star systems, dressed in ceremonial armor, neurosilk, or dripping mucus, all vibrating in anticipation. The humans arrived casually. One wore a tie with pizza slices on it. Another carried a prop chicken. They didn't even bring guards. Just a projector. A galactic high minister whispered, "They must be mad." "No," hissed another. "They are about to unleash something." The lights dimmed. The presentation began. Title slide: Memes, A History of Human Diplomacy. Within 40 seconds, the first envoy collapsed, convulsing. Not from poison, from uncontrollable wheezing. They just showed a dog in a business suit, one ambassador sobbed. And it made more policy sense than our entire council. Slide after slide, each more offensive to decorum. A cat knocking over a vase was framed as tactical economic protest. A toddler screaming at broccoli was explained as food rebellion strategy modeling. A frog on a unicycle was captioned, "Here come dat boy." Chaos spread. The monetary delegation attempted to issue a formal complaint, but couldn't stop chuckling long enough to articulate it. One species, known only as the Urkt, began worshipping the memes outright. Another tried to trade a moon for the source code to TikTok. The humans never blinked. At the end, the lead human speaker simply said, "This concludes our demonstration on psychological asymmetry and cultural domination." Then they bowed, and the room gave a standing ovation. The Galactic Embassy has not held another symposium since. Location: Thronworld Broadcast Tower, the Empire Core event. Emergency address by the Emperor of the Galactic Empire. The screen flickered, a towering chamber of obsidian and starlight. The Emperor, 8 feet tall, wrapped in psychic silk and crimson war lace, loomed over a podium shaped like a dying star. His voice echoed across 1,000 planets. The human threat is no longer military. It is ideological. It is cultural. It is funny. The room tensed. Across the stars, screens glowed in palaces, war rooms, and crumbling theaters of war. The Empire's citizens leaned forward. We thought we could crush them with order. They laughed. We tried fear. They made a horror parody. We erased their cities. They memed about free real estate. We invaded their minds, and they left behind rickrolls as counterviruses. His eye twitched. His hands trembled. Behind him, a human meme had breached the holographic firewall. A cartoon banana began dancing behind the Emperor, singing, "Peanut butter jelly time." He froze. One of the Imperial advisors screamed. Another choked, trying to contain a laugh. "I can still," the Emperor roared, slamming the console. "I can still," crash. The feed cut. An explosion of static. Then, the Empire's emergency screen came on, in bold galactic common. "Please stand by." And beneath it, a looping image. A human in a crown, sipping tea. Captioned, "We'll wait. The Empire fell within hours." Location: remnants of the Imperial Senate chamber. Perspective: a surviving alien senator speaking into a recorder from a collapsed council desk. Day: unknown. The sun still rises, but we're no longer sure what time means. The Empire is gone. Not conquered, not overthrown, just undone. By laughter, by dancing bananas, by sarcasm so deep it rewrote our neural norms. The chamber's massive archways were cracked, daylight slicing through once impervious metal. Holographic busts of former emperors lay flickering, mouths open in frozen warning. Survivors wandered like ghosts, former elites, diplomats, scholars, picking through the digital ashes of what they once called civilization. We banned human media, then secretly consumed it. Their humor was viral, their satire infectious. We tried deleting their archives, but someone always had a backup, a data slug, a meme deep frozen in a fridge on Ganymede. He leaned back, looking through a shattered skylight, toward a strange new constellation, one formed by hundreds of fleeing Imperial ships now dark and drifting. The last directive we received was to stop the jokes, so we asked, "What jokes?" And humanity replied, "Exactly." A soft laugh escaped him, genuine, reluctant. I laughed until my translator gave up. And that, they say, was the final betrayal. Far off, a beacon blinked. Transmission incoming. From the humans. It simply read, "So, what now?"
Location: Earth. Deep Sky Relay Command, Northern Hemisphere.
The sky was calm. Birds flew overhead. Inside an unmarked facility built beneath ancient bedrock, the last transmission had been sent 3 days ago. Not a weapon, not a warning. A joke. And now the galaxy was listening. Screams around the room showed chaos in a dozen languages. Panic on capital worlds. Strange mutinies on border fleets. Colonies that switched flags overnight. To Earths, not from force, from volition. At the heart of it all stood a single woman, hands clasped behind her back, eyes locked on the main screen. She wore no uniform, no nameplate, just a black jacket and an old, well-worn bracelet that read, "Property of Earth, status of the Empire," she asked. A tech officer cleared his throat. "Collapsed, ma'am. Psycholinguistic destabilization confirmed. Their hierarchy is eating itself." She nodded once. And our message? Still spreading, meme chains adapting. Council broadcasts are flooded with human comedy edits. They're quoting us now, ironically, then unironically. She turned to the dark glass behind her. Earth below, blue and whole, peaceful. "That's the thing about humor," she whispered. "It sticks, even in the dark." A pause. Then she leaned forward. "Send them one more signal. Ask them a question." She dictated it slowly, clearly. No grand speech, just words, just human. Transmission begins. "You feared what we might become. You mocked what we once were, but you never asked why we laugh. We laugh because if we didn't, we'd burn the whole damn sky." Silence, then cheers, within the command room. Beyond it, in rebel colonies now holding up Earth flags as a symbol, not a demand. Across the stars, they listened. And somewhere deep in the void, a new empire began, not declared, earned.